Who are you? And what are you called to do? Those are some pretty tough questions, aren't there? And they're pretty deep. That can take some time to really dive into and really uncover the answers, especially if you've never asked yourself that. Maybe you have, and maybe you've just not quite come to the answer, or you're still trying to find the answer. I know sometimes I feel the exact same way. Welcome to this discernment campfire, brought to you, delivered to you, and founded by Shalina Harris, the family tribe, the Harris family tribe, and the Down Home Mama. I'm your guest speaker, Kelia Holder, the Goal Success Life Coach. Thank you for tuning in. I encourage you to really delve deep into these programs, these classes, these lessons, and really take a deep look at what the message that we are trying to bring forth to you to help you with your discernment in your life, in deciding and determining great answers to great questions like, who are you and what are you called to do? So let's break that down. Let's start by first defining, who are you? And the key word in that, as I just said, let's start defining who you are. Now I'm going to first start by sharing a personal story from myself. I know for me, who am I? Because a question that I never really asked myself young in my earlier days. It was until I really got into self-development and growing and developing myself that I really looked deep into who am I being, and who I actually wanted to be. I know during my childhood and my teenage years, I was a very sensitive person that really was a very vulnerable and naive in some instances. And some of the decisions I made in my life, I won't say that I regret them. I don't believe in having regrets. I live and learn from them. Maybe not in that moment, but looking back, I was like, okay, yeah. So hopefully we can help you shorten the span of your learning curve so that you don't necessarily have to go through a lot of the things that other people have had, like us, for instance, have had to go through to learn the lessons necessary for our lives. Now, when you think about who am I, when you're asking yourself, who are you? Who am I? What the first things that probably come to mind, or some of the first things that come to mind, is your name, your culture, maybe your religious background, your ethnicity, your family background. And those things you can look to as a measure of defining who you are as a person. But is that really who you are? Or I should ask, is that all that you are? Let's dig a little deeper. Let's really look to find out and uncover what truly defines you as a person you are today, as the person you're hoping and wishing for or striving to be for in the future. What will define you? So let's look at some things like, What are some of your, let's first start with the big ones. The past. Is your past defining you right now? Is it saying you are a failure or a success? You are an introvert or an extrovert? I am naturally inclined, based on my personality from growing up, to be introverted. But I have since then come out of my shell, as you can see, doing this video, something I would have never done in the past. So my introvertedness is not defining who I am being now and who I'm striving to be in the future. So that's a clear example that you can look to. Some things in your past may be some family issues. You may have had dealt with some negativity in your home, where you were brought down by the people that is supposed to uplift you, where you have been, God forbid, suffered at the hands of molestation, abuse. And abuse is so broad. There's so many categories of abuse: verbal, physical, neglect. The list goes on and on. Is it your present circumstances? Right now, you may be looking at your circumstances right now and says, I am struggling financially. I'm struggling personally. I'm struggling professionally. I'm struggling spiritually. I'm struggling mentally. I'm struggling health-wise, physically. What is your struggle right now? And how is that defining who you are being in this moment? Are you looking to the future and who you can possibly be? Are you striving to be someone better? Are you striving to overcome the circumstances in your life right now? Are you striving to not let what has been and what seems to be right now define who you are going to be? Really think and dig deep and ask yourself these questions and find the answers. Did you know that you are an intuitive being and that you have the answers within? You just need to stop, pause, and ask the questions, and you shall find the answers. What else can be defining you? Is it the negative or positive thoughts that are going through your mind daily? And they can tell you that chances are 95% of those thoughts are negative. Only a smidgen of those thoughts are positive, if there are. If you're someone who works to be actively try to be positive. But it is a challenge. We as human beings, as a human nature, that is our nature to fall towards the negative, to look towards the negative. What could go wrong? The bad, what is? What if this happens? Did you know there's a positive what if? What if everything works out the way you want it to work out? What if? But we don't see that. I can tell you, there was many times I didn't see that. All I saw was, oh my gosh, what if this bad thing happened? What if I fail? Oh, but hey, what if I succeeded? What then? What if you succeeded? This one, is a big challenge. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest, it feels like. But it is not impossible. You can ask the people who have climbed Mount Everest. They've made it possible, right? And so can you. What else is defining you? Is it some negative or positive beliefs? Beliefs or the aftermath of the thoughts that we're thinking. We think something enough times, we begin to believe it. If you think a lot of the negativity in your life and negative thoughts, guess what? Your beliefs are going to be negative. They're going to bring you down. They're not going to uplift you. You could believe that, oh, I am so incompetent. I can't be successful. Look at my past. Look at the things that I've had to deal with. Look at the people who've told me over and over that I can't succeed, that I'm either stupid or incompetent or lack the skills. If only they know that those things don't have to define you, but they can if you let it. What other beliefs are hindering you right now? When you really break down the negative beliefs that you have in your mind, you look, a great exercise that you can use is to take that belief, write it down, and find 3 things that counteract that belief. Whether that's something you have accomplished in your past, in your lifetime, or it's something that someone else was able to accomplish. If someone else was able to do it, guess what? It's possible. And it means it's possible for you. And when you look at that, the evidence that that belief does not stand ground, it doesn't have the weight to hold itself, you can eliminate that belief. But it takes time. It takes you actively making it happen. It's not going to happen by you thinking, oh, I'm going to start believing that I am capable. You have to, in your mind, disempower that belief with evidence that it can be overpowered. So you need to take that time out to do this exercise, to really take it on. What else is defining you? Is it fears? Is it doubts? Is it worry? Is it stress? Is it the feeling of overwhelm? These are all feelings that come upon us when we feel that we are in a situation where we either can't control, we don't have any control over, or that we are uncertain of whether to go forward or to stop. But when you build that skill set of looking at your life and discerning it and really digging deep, you can come up with the answers. But you know one of the most powerful tools that you can use? The most significant tool that nothing and no one else has the ammunition to destroy, and that's seeking guidance and wisdom from God. Is finding that hope and faith in someone outside of you, someone that believes the best in you, that believe you are the greatest creation alive. And you know how God speaks to you and how God guides you and how He directs you? He speaks through other people. And He speaks through your thoughts when you take a silent and you ask yourself these types of challenging questions where you have to stop and think, where you're not just taking in what is being shoved down your throat and expecting you to just take it from other people or from you buying into those beliefs and starting to think that those things that they are saying about you. So to find out who you are, You gotta find out what defines you, what makes you uniquely you. You get that? The other question is going to be a whole lot simpler to answer. And that's the big one. That's another big one, right? That is finding out, what are you called to do? Ask yourself, what am I called to do? Because when you're no longer confused or like wondering who you are, and you're tapping into your higher being, your God, and seeking His guidance and wisdom in your life, you're going to see and you're going to be shown and you're going to be guided towards what your calling is in life. Maybe it's to use your life story to impact the lives of others in some way. Is that offering some programs? Is that mentoring? Is that coaching? Is that writing a book? Is that doing videos like this, sharing your story? Is that doing missionary work? Is that speaking the truth of God into the life of other people, breathing that into other people? I can't answer that for you. Only you, in your solitude with God, can help you find that answer. But I encourage you to really take deep and take this course on, not as some, it's just another program to do. No. Take it on as, what can I discover about myself, who I am, who I'm being, and who I want to be, and what is my mission, my purpose in life? How can I find that out? How can I use what I'm learning here to tap into and really dive deep to uncover these things and really tune in and be aware of how God is using this program and the speakers that you're going to hear and the words that you're going to see and listen to, and how they're using it to help enlighten you in your life. Because that's what, at the end of the day, we all want to be enlightened and not left in the dark, right? So really dig deep. And if you have any questions, I highly encourage that you ask them. Don't stay questioning and worrying and no, ask. And don't ever think that your question is a silly question. No, it's not silly. It's a very much so valid. So thank you for tuning in with me today. It's been a pleasure sharing, and I look forward to opportunities where I can share more with you. Thank you. This is Kelia Holder, encouraging you to begin, believe, become the best version of you. Take care.